Hello and welcome back to my devlog series on my Godot indie horror game, The Phantom Void. Indeed, I have returned in a very timely manner, I'm sure. There were certainly a lot of issues while making the new things I'm going to be showing you, and just to make this video, I had to sift through nearly 20 hours of footage. So if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. It would help me out a ton. Thanks. Firstly, something with the item system that I hadn't added in the last video that was really important to add was item dropping. So I added the ability to drop items by holding them out and pressing Q. I considered making it the X key like doors, but the Q key just made more sense to me. However, jank physics kept getting the better of me and the flashlight kept falling through the floor. I had to keep fiddling around with the physics settings just to get it to be more consistent. The issue still sometimes happens, but I've left it for now because it was getting way too annoying to deal with. Another thing was the positional lag of the flashlight. It was causing jittering, so I removed it. It didn't look as good at the time, but later I add something that looks way better anyway, so it didn't really matter. Next, I wanted to improve on the interaction UI, since the little text appearing under the crosshair looks pretty bad. And if you look at games like Doors and Pressure, they have little panels showing the keybind to interact, so I decided to make one of my own. I did this by using a quad mesh with a viewport texture to display UI elements on a plane, and also gave it a billboard effect so it always faces the player. During this time, I also added a font to the project, which I think is very reminiscent of Pressure's font. Maybe even the same, I'm not sure. But either way, I think it looks way better than before. The new interaction UI also supports several kinds of interactions, like one-shot interactions, holding interactions, and mashing interactions. Wait, different interactions? Yep, I added those too. These all have different behaviors, and I made them so that they can be set and adjusted in the interaction component. This lets me make some more interesting interactions in the future, which I'll showcase at the end. The next thing I added was a settings menu. I started trying to make a texture for the tabs, and then failed miserably. So I just used themes on buttons instead, and it immediately looked like 10 times better. I set up a settings system as well, which lets me save settings to a config file and load them, as well as updating the UI and letting the UI update the settings, along with anything which listens to the changes either via signals or this match statement I made. Gosh, that was a mouthful. In the end, I think it turned out great, and I also got the opportunity to add a pause menu, which has this cool VHS effect in the background. If you've ever played Pressure, you'll likely know about the item swapping mechanic. And yes, I am aware of the recent situation that's unfolded, but I won't be talking about that here. Just know any inspiration from Pressure is separate from the developers, and I don't condone any of the actions of those involved. Moving on. I added this mechanic to my game too, since it's just a cool thing to have, I guess, but it plays this little animation that definitely wasn't completely copied. I don't know what you're talking about. My friends also commented that I need to add arms so it doesn't look weird. I mean, I guess they were right, because the flashlight is kind of just floating there, but I kid you not, this certainly was not easy to do. I found these arms on Sketchfab and then rigged them up, but they had a lot of issues and parts of the hand just decided that they were just gonna separate for some reason. I swear, I spent hours trying to figure this out, only to scroll a little further down on Sketchfab to find the exact same arms but already rigged. Ugh, you gotta be kidding me. So I've imported them into Blender and surprise surprise it worked perfectly first try. Now it's just time to animate some idle animations for the flashlight and import it into Godot, right? Should be simple enough, right? Yeah, no, it was not simple. I swear, I spent ages trying to figure out why my console kept getting spammed with these errors every frame without even running the project while trying to get the animation tree to work. But if you've watched my last devlog, you'll know it's always got to do with one seemingly insignificant value that magically fixes everything. So I changed this one seemingly insignificant value and it magically fixed everything. Yay! But now I've got these really cool arms with an animation system I can use to make pretty much anything related to items or just generic animations too. One final thing I changed was to do with head bobbing. Before, the position of the head and arm wouldn't get reset if you stopped moving, sort of just pausing in place until you moved again. Now, however, your camera and hand reset to their normal position when you stop moving. Just a bit of polish that I think goes a long way. So yeah, this certainly was a rocky road, but now I'm in an even better place for making the rest of my game. There were certainly a lot of hiccups along the way, but in the end I've managed to make something that I'm pretty proud of. So now let's head on to the showcase. If you did enjoy this devlog, please like the video, subscribe and drop a comment on what you'd like to see next. But until next time, see ya!